Hare Krishna. I'm very happy to be here today. Last evening also I was here with some of you, and I'm happy to meet you all again. And many of you, of course, were not here yesterday. And I'm very happy to be with you all also. And is there anyone who is coming for the first time to this temple? Oh. So what's your first impression? How did you like it? Very peaceful? You also look very peaceful. Very good. Okay. And where are you from? Wonderful. Which part of China? Shanghai. Oh, wonderful. Welcome to the United States and welcome to the Hare Krishna world. Wonderful. So everybody greet her with Hare Krishna. Well, let me just introduce her. Maybe you can stand up so that everybody can see you. Wonderful. Why don't you say it in the mic so that everybody can hear?
I didn't plan to come to chanting. I didn't know there was something like that. But just before I came to America, I read a book, The Journey of Going Home by American Swami. So I knew in California and in other places and the spirituality has been well spread out. And on my way going somewhere this morning, actually this noon, I got lost and then I stopped over there with my bicycle and somebody came from here and he said, oh, we were dancing and it's very spiritual, just feel like what you want, whatever, try it. And I was like, okay, I'll go somewhere, I want to come back. If it's still there, I would check it out. And 4 hours later, I came back and I heard the chanting, amazing. You know, by the street and Venice Boulevard, I could hear it, and I got intrigued, and I came in, and I feel beautiful. It was a blessing here. Thank you.
What's your name? Viviana. Wonderful, Viviana. Thank you very much. And you know something? The Swami who wrote The Journey Home that you read, that Swami is here in LA. And he'll be here till Thursday. So maybe you can meet him also. Introduce her to Radhanath Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Very good. Very good. So, yeah, she actually mentioned that her coming to the temple in this way today was her destiny. That's an interesting way to look at it. Yes, destiny means Krishna brought you here. And Krishna has some other plans with you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So today's topic is why did Krishna come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Because of this topic, actually I wanted to know how many are new. In that case I would know, because the topic is quite lofty, quite elevated. And so I was actually considering how should I present this topic today. So I guess we have to begin from the beginning. We have to present it from the beginning. Okay, what is this here? What you are facing here? This is the altar. Altar means this is a place of worship. Why this is a place of worship? Because the worshipable Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is present here. He is present here in three sets, in three ways. In that extreme corner is Shri Shri Gaur-Nitai. How many of you know who is Gaur-Nitai? Please raise your hand. Okay, most of the hands went up. How many of you do not know who is Gaur-Nitai? Yes. Okay. Then next to that, in the center, is Shri Shri Rukmini Dwarkadhish. Who is Rukmini Dwarkadhish? How many of you know? Okay, naturally. And then there is Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra. So, these are the three manifestations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? What does it mean? Supreme Personality of Godhead. Godhead, meaning God. But nowadays there are many different concepts of God. There are many gods. But in order to identify that God is one without a second, there is this consideration that He is the Supreme. Supreme means, Supreme literally means who is unique, who is one without a second. Because Supreme means no one is equal to Him and no one is superior to Him. That is the meaning of the word supreme. Supreme, highest, topmost. No one is superior to Him. And what to speak of superior, no one is even equal to Him. That is supreme. So that is God. He is supreme. That is, no one is equal to Him and no one is superior to Him. Therefore, He is one without a second. In one hand, we are seeing that God is one without a second. He is one. He is ultimate, absolute one. But then again, on the altar, we are seeing that He is present in three forms, in three features. So what does it mean? So here we have to understand God's inconceivable potency. Due to this potency, He can expand Himself. Although He is one, without a second, but He can expand Himself. His expansions are also of two kinds. One is called Swamsa, or His expansion with full potency, and another is His expansion as His parts and parcels. He can expand Himself into many without losing His potency, remaining the same. But at the same time, He also expands as His parts and parcels. Now we, who are known as living entities, jivas, we are His expansions as parts and parcels. His parts and parcels. Okay, to clarify that point, we can give an example. Consider the sun. Sun is there, and the sun has innumerable rays coming out from the sun. So those rays of the sun also have the qualities of the sun. What are the qualities of sun? Say the quality of sun is light and heat. The sun is a source of inconceivable light and heat. And sun's rays also have light and heat. Only difference is that the sun has inconceivable light and heat, whereas the rays has tiny atomic quantity of light and heat. Very little light and heat. So jivas, we, the living entities, are like that rays of, if God is compared to sun, then we are like the rays of the sun. Qualitatively, we are one. God is spiritual, we are also spiritual. God is endowed with 3 specific spiritual qualities. Those 3 specific spiritual qualities are eternity, knowledge, eternal knowledge and bliss. God is eternal. We are also eternal. Our body may be perishable, our body may be temporary, but we, the souls, we are eternal. The soul never dies. Soul simply transmigrates from one body to another body. So the souls are also eternal. We are also eternal. And spirit souls are, God is full of knowledge, He is conscious, full of consciousness, full of knowledge. And we are also conscious, but our consciousness is minute, whereas His consciousness is absolute. And the third quality, spiritual quality of God, is that He is joyful, eternally joyful. Bliss. He is blissful. Anandam. And we are also joyful. In our constitutional position, as pure spiritual entities, we are eternal, we are full of knowledge, and we are full of bliss. But we are minute. Eternity, knowledge and bliss. God is absolute, eternal knowledge of bliss. So that is one way to understand what we are in relation to God. Now, will anybody ever say a ray of sun to be sun? To be the sun? No. A ray is a ray of sun, and the sun is the source of all the lights. But qualitatively, we are one with God. But quantitatively, we are different. Now, this is our relationship with God. Now, what is the relationship between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His incarnations? Incarnations means expansions. Now, in our sky, there is one sun only. But consider that this sun can expand. One sun can become many. One sun became 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth. Then will those suns have any difference between them? Qualitatively and quantitatively? No. So this is how the incarnations of the Lord are. Innumerable incarnations are there. And you know, He is situated in everyone's heart. Speaking about incarnations, one of his incarnations is in your heart. So that is how he manifests his inconceivable potency. God is there in everyone's heart as the super soul. You are a spirit soul and he is the super soul or the supreme soul. He is the supreme soul. Now just consider how many living, not only he is present in the hearts of the human beings, he is in the heart of every living entity. He is in the heart of the human beings, he is in the hearts of the animals, birds, reptiles, insects, worms, trees and plants. Consider his incarnations. Consider his expansion. In his full potency, he is present in everyone's heart. And that is his potency. That is to give just one example of his expansion. He expands in various ways. Those expansions are known as avatar. The super soul aspect is one of his expansions. In the Vedic scriptures, although the incarnations of the Lord are innumerable, but they have been classified into 6 categories. Those 6 categories are Purusha avatars, Leela avatars, Guna avatars, Juga avatar, Manvantar avatar and Shaktavesh avatar. Purusha avatar. Purusha avatars are Vishnu incarnations of the Lord. Vishnu aspect of the Lord is in relation to the creation of this material nature. When this material nature is, when the Lord creates this material nature, then he expands himself as Vishnu. The first aspect of Vishnu is Mahavishnu or Karana Dokshayi Vishnu. Karana Dokshayi Vishnu. Karana means cause and Udaka means ocean and Shai means lying down. The Supreme Personality of Godhead in this incarnation is lying down in the causal ocean. Ocean of cause. We all are familiar of ocean of salt water, right? Saltwater ocean. Pretty close to LA you have it, a saltwater ocean. But there are various kinds of oceans, you know. Not only the ocean is the ocean of salt. Just in this plane of the creation, there are 7 different types of oceans. There is a saltwater ocean, there is sugar water ocean, there is liquor ocean, there is ocean of ghee, clarified butter, there is ocean of yogurt, there is ocean of milk, and there is ocean of pure water. So these are the 7 types of oceans in this plane known as Bhumandal. We are surrounded by saltwater ocean. But in another plane it goes on like that. So similarly, in the more subtle consideration, in the more subtle aspect, there is an ocean of cause. Cause is a substance. Like behind every action there is a cause. Can there be something without a cause? Don't you say because? So cause is a substance. And there is an ocean of cause. Causal ocean. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in order to create this material nature, he lies down in that causal ocean, as Mahavishnu. And as he lies down in the causal ocean, and as he breathes, due to his breathing, bubbles are generated. When you breathe underwater in a swimming pool, what happens? Bubbles are generated. So similarly, when the Lord breathes in the causal ocean, the bubbles are generated. And those bubbles, each bubble is an universe. So initially the bubbles are empty inside. So he enters into each bubble, fills up the half of the bubble with water generated from his own body, and then he lies in that, on that water. That aspect of the Lord is known as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And from the lotus emanating from his navel comes out a lotus. And the first created being in the universe, Lord Brahma, is situated in that lotus. Rather, on that lotus. And on the stem of that lotus, there are 14 planetary systems. There are 14 planets. 7 of them are higher and 7 of them are lower. So the 7 higher planetary systems are known as Bhurloka. This is the lowest of the 7. Bhurloka, this one. Above Bhurloka is the Bhubarloka. Then Swaraloka, or the heavenly planet. Then Maharloka, the planet where the sages reside. And this way, Janaloka, Tapoloka, Satyaloka. The topmost region of this universe is the place where Lord Brahma is situated. And there are 7 lower planetary systems. They are known as Atal, Bital, Sutal, Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal, and Patal. 7. In simple words, they are described as subterranean planetary systems. Subterranean, below the ground. Above ground, you can say, the region where the sun's light enters, they are the upper planetary systems illuminated by sun. But the lower planetary systems are the region where sun's rays don't enter. So in this way, there's a very, very detailed, scientific, factual descriptions of the creation and the situation, the planetary systems of this universe. So this is one aspect. The Lord expands himself as Mahavishnu, then Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, then Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. As Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he entered into every single universe. And then he entered in the heart of every single living entity and in every single atom. That aspect of the Lord is known as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. In that aspect, the Lord is lying on an ocean of milk. Kshira means milk. Ocean of milk. So these 3 are known as Purushavatar. 3 Vishnus. Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. Then the Lord manifests himself to control the 3 modes of the material nature. There are 3 modes of material nature known as Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Expanding himself as Vishnu another aspect of Vishnu, he controls the mode of goodness. As Brahma, he controls the mode of passion. And as Lord Shiva, he controls the mode of ignorance. So they are known as Gunavatar. Then the Lord performs various pastimes in this material nature, and in that incarnation he is known as Leelavatar. Like you heard of the pastimes of the Lord as Varahadev, Nrisinghadev, Kurma. They are the Leelavatars of the Lord. Then the time moves in cycles, creating 4 different aspects of time called Yugas. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga. So these are the 4 Yugas, and in the 4 Yugas the Lord appears as the Yugavatars to establish the principle of religion of that specific time or Yuga. They are known as Yugavatars. And then in every Manvantar there are 14. In a day of Brahma there are 14 Manus. Manus are like the controllers of the universal affairs, and they come with their own entourage or group of a set of demigods, a set of sages, and so forth. So the Lord appears in the reign of each Manu as Manvantar avatar. And then sometimes the Lord empowers a living entity He empowers a living entity to achieve some special purpose. And in that he is known as Shaktavesh avatar. He empowers, Shakti Avesh. He induces the living entities with his own potency. Shaktavesh avatar. So these are the 6 different categories. Although the Lord's incarnations are innumerable, but they fall in these 6 categories. The Lord's incarnations fall in these 6 categories. Purushavatar, Gunavatar, Leelavatar, Yugavatar, Manvantar avatar, and Shaktavesh avatar. So in this way the Lord expands himself into innumerable incarnations, retaining his complete potency in each expansion. So this is how the Lord expands. But although the Lord expands himself, but he, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is manifest as Krishna. That is, in the center of the altar that you are seeing, Rukmini Dwarkadhish. That means Krishna with his pleasure potency.